Well, I hooked onto my little old trailer today. Went for a drive up in the mountains. And this is what I came home with. What this appears to be is a 2-ton truck. It is a Doge. And appears to be about a 1946, wouldn't you say? I'm not sure if 47 has a cat on it or not. 46 does. But she's a little jewel. I apologize for this camera. I'm using my not so good camera because my good camera, my laptop is down and I cannot download video from my good camera without my laptop. So I'm stuck with this for right now. 13 leaves in that stack of springs on the front. And flathead 6, of course. The heads in the cab. Got some nice little bullet holes. I love the bullet holes. My goodness gracious me, oh my. What a stack. Look at the size of that pumpkin in that thing. Man, she's a whopper. Lordy, Lord, Lord. Huh. Yeah. She's a little jewel. And well, everything's just so heavy duty on it. This license, there's more metal in this license plate bracket than there is in my Chevy truck up there. Got a pretty cool little dash on it with the gauges are just so simple and that's all there is to it. Got a nice nifty little aftermarket turn signal dealy bobber there, and yeah, quite the starter button there. An old floor starter. And oh boy, everything's heavy duty. So that's the latest acquisition here on the Hillbilly Ranch and the Hillbilly Workshop and the Hillbilly dragging stuff home. I don't know what I'll do with it yet. So, I don't know. All I wanted was the cab, really. But the guy said, nope, you got to take it off. If you take anything, you got to take it off. So there we have it. 1946 Dodge. 2-ton truck, I do believe. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that year. But that's what the grill looks like anyway for now. I'll research it a little bit better later on, get some numbers and stuff. But look at these awesome little body lines there. Looks like it's moving when it's sitting still. Poetry in motion, folks. Well, I've been going at this since about, well, let's see, about 10 hours, I guess. And have not accomplished a whole lot. I guess I have, really, but it's just not something that you can see right off. But put bolts in the, when I put the bolts in the bottom, it sucks that down. I got my manifolds mounted back on. Boy, that was a chore, but I learned how on this side, and the other side went pretty good. I just kind of learned how to attach them, where to attach them first. And anyway, that's beside the point. What I'm going to do is, well, I've talked about this a little bit before. Sometimes less is more. And I don't know a whole lot about building cars, but I do enough this metal sculpture thing that I kind of know what looks right. It kind of tells me what looks right or wrong, or at least what looks better than something else. And I've come to some inclusions and made some incisions. That's kind of like, what was that word I come up with about Victor? Brothership, yeah. Oh, sometimes I just make myself laugh at me. Not because I'm funny. Just my ignoramus sometimes. But anyway, these pipes are awfully humongous. They just kind of I think they're a little too big. I think they kind of take away when they're, if you can picture them up there. They kind of take away from the flow of things, from the flow of the cab and the body of this thing, and the nice round flowing fenders and all the nice curvy flowing lines. So I think I'm going to diminish that a little bit and use some smaller pipe. And I think, just what I think is, I think some 2-inch would look better than 2.5. And I think I'm going to shorten them down. I've got this copper that is 2 feet long, and I'm going to cut them in half, and I'll have enough for everything. And my goal, my thought is to shorten them down, like I said, and they'll still come up to about here. The first one will anyway, but I'm thinking about cutting them on a taper on the end, and then stair-stepping them down, or cutting them at the same angle, at least, kind of at an angle. And they'll look kind of like pipes in a pipe organ, and my son was telling him that, and he's a musician, so he got that. But I'm tired, I can't even think. But I don't dare stop. I'll just seize up if I stop. And my back's hurting pretty bad, my chest is hurting, but I got to press on. I can't just sit around and do nothing, you know. I guess I could, but I'm just not built that way. So I'm going to push on. I'm going to keep pushing. What was I going to say? Anyway, kind of stair-step those down, and they'll be shorter, and I think they won't. They just won't be as intrusive and obnoxious and gaudy. I think they'll have more class, and you know. You can tell by looking at this thing, it's loaded with class, man. Oh boy, hey, we having fun. I'm so glad you fellers come along and watch my silliness and my mistakes, and you know, there's a couple of you guys out there that seem to think that I know how to build a rat rod, and I hope that I inspire you. I hope you go build one yourself. But I don't really know that much about it. I'm learning as I go. You know, I'm almost 66, and I'm still learning all the time. I just get in there and get my hands dirty, and I learn by that, and I like to learn that way. I hate to sit down and learn stuff out of a book. That just don't work for me. I gotta lay hands on it, man. So that's what I do. I get out here with this metal and I lay hands on it, and I beat it into submission. And when I get done, it looks the way I want it to. If it don't, I keep beating it until it does look the way I want it to. So one guy said he hoped, a commenter said he hoped that it was the picture that I saw or something. And yes, it is the image that I had in my mind when I started this. I had an image, and I'm just building toward that image. I just keep beating metal until that image in my mind comes to fruition. So I'm gonna, here, what I'm gonna did is I had to cut these manifolds down, shorten them down a little bit. They were about 4 inches tall. I shortened them down enough to get below my copper and mesh that's gonna go here. And now what I will do is I will cut a large enough oval with, I don't know, enough clearance to give my engine room to shake, rattle, and roll. It has to be able to dance around in there a little bit. I may chain it down, you know, I'll probably chain it to the frame so it's not going to torque too far, but it needs to move. This is further out. The further you get from the engine, the more the exhaust is gonna move. I mean, it might move, I don't know, won't even move. If it moved 1/4 of an inch there, it might move a 1/2 inch out here. So I got to give myself some room, and boy, it's tight right there, but I'm going to make it work. So I'm going to cut this out, and then when I get that cut out, I can gander at this and tell where I need to be, and mark that out and cut it, and then I'll have a pattern to cut my copper. So when I lay it all in there, it'll all be the same cutout. And then below that, it's really not necessary. It's just an aesthetic thing that I want to do. But I want to put a sheet of copper underneath this oval that I take out, not exactly an oval, I don't know what you'd call that, just an oblong oval maybe. But I'm going to put a solid sheet that really hugs the pipes so that you don't see that manifold when you look through that oval. And I don't know why I want that, I just do. And that way the whole thing can shake around with that sheet of copper underneath the cutout, and give the engine some room to move, the exhaust room to move. Although it doesn't move much out here, it's anchored pretty well actually, so it won't go far, especially if I chain it down. We'll chain it down like a big old dog. All right, that's enough. It's too much. I'm making way too much videos lately, but I'm making progress, and I get excited when I make progress, like getting that nose cut down, the trunk on, the seats installed, and all that. You know, that's exciting to me. So long way to go, boy, a long way to go to have it the way I want it. I've got a visor to put on there, and I'm thinking that copper mesh might look pretty good on the visor too. I don't want to take it too far. I don't want to overdo it. I've seen things that are, the theme is just overdone and it's overwhelming, and I don't want that. I want it to be kind of classy looking. I mean, if if anybody can consider this classy, I mean, I do. Or I want it to be. So yeah, I don't want to do too much, don't want to take it too far, but I got a pretty good eye for what's too much and what's not. So I just got to trust my gut, you know, and go with it. So we'll see what happens. Hey, appreciate you.